If you've been trying to heal your chronic pain or symptoms for months or years, and you're starting to wonder why nothing seems to be working, I want to talk to you about something today that I think needs to be said more often in the brain-based healing space for chronic pain and symptoms. The truth is, there's no quick fix. Now, I know you do not want to hear that. I know you're desperate to heal your chronic symptoms, but I think this belief, this idea that healing should be quick and simple if you're doing everything right, actually keeps people stuck. When chronic symptoms first occur, most people go into survival mode. They become terrified about what's happening in their body. And so what do? They excessively start to get assessments and tests done, trying to find what the physical cause is for their chronic symptoms. And then they start to load themselves up with all these various physical treatments, physiotherapy, chiropractic work, medications, injections, or surgeries. And very quickly, our whole life becomes consumed by these treatments. Every new treatment feels like it might finally be the answer, and then every setback feels devastating. Now, the problem is that physical treatments are often not the solution, because many forms of chronic pain and symptoms are neuroplastic, and they're being generated because your brain and nervous system has become sensitized due to being stuck in this heightened state of danger and dysregulation. And with neuroplastic symptoms, there is no damage or disease in your body that is causing your symptoms. Eventually, many people discover the world of brain-based healing, pain reprocessing therapy, somatic work, and nervous system regulation. And at first, this can feel incredibly hopeful. People hear these stories of someone stopping fearing their symptoms, starting to get back to living their life, doing somatic tracking once a day, and miraculously, their symptoms disappear within a matter of weeks. And so naturally, your nervous system locks onto this, and it's like, oh, this is finally the answer. This is how we're going to fix ourselves. But then something unfortunate happens. Now you remember that survival energy you were using to excessively use physical treatments and get physical assessments? Well, people don't just leave that behind when they enter the brain-based healing world. They bring that survival energy with them. So they're no longer obsessively searching for physical treatments. Now they're obsessively searching for the perfect mind-body strategy. So one week, it's brain retraining. The next week, they're doing emotional processing and journaling. Then the next week, they're processing trauma. And then they're using the newest vagus nerve exercise. The problem is the underlying energy is the same. It's this survival energy driving people. And what your nervous system learns is you're desperately searching to fix something still. Then, when your symptoms don't disappear quickly, frustration and fear set in. People start to think, I'm missing some piece of the puzzle. I must not be using the strategies right. Maybe everyone else can heal, but I can't. And I know this experience because I lived it. Early on when I was healing, I really thought I just needed to perfect my healing, find the perfect strategy, find the missing piece, find the underlying emotional issue, and then once that happened, everything would click and my symptoms would just vanish. Eventually, I realized I was not engaging in the healing work properly. What I was doing was chasing the fastest solution to my symptoms. And that chasing was coming from a place of fear. So my nervous system was still getting the message, there's something wrong with me, I need to be fixed, I'm not going to feel safe until my symptoms go away. Now, once I realized this pattern was occurring, I was able to start approaching healing in a different way. I believe the brain-based healing space sometimes unintentionally harms people because people are given the impression that if their symptoms are neuroplastic, that healing will be quick and simple. I really want you to hear me that for most people, healing is not quick and it is not simple. And just because your healing is taking months or years does not mean you're doing something wrong. You're probably doing everything correctly. It's just for most people, healing is slow and it's gradual. The reality is your chronic symptoms developed from patterns of dysregulation, fear, perfectionism, people-pleasing, emotional suppression, trauma, and social danger. And there is no one perfect brain retraining technique, vagus nerve exercise, or safety message that is going to instantly unwind all of those patterns. For most people, healing is slow, gradual, and boring. Deep healing involves changing your relationship with your symptoms, your emotions, yourself, and your life. Now, over the years, by working with hundreds of therapy clients, I've noticed that the people that get lasting healing go through 4 important stages. Stage number 1, understanding what is driving your symptoms. Now, in this first stage, what I see people do is they stop frantically and randomly using strategies and practices. They stop following generic advice online of what strategies they should use or how many times a day they should do somatic tracking. Instead, they slow it down and they pause. And what they start to do is understand what factors have sensitized their nervous system, causing their chronic pain or symptoms. They start to understand how they respond to their symptoms typically, what social danger in their life they face, like are there toxic friends? Is their workplace terrible? They start to gain awareness of what emotions or nervous system states they fear or suppress. They start to understand themselves deeply. And that is the point. You are never going to understand your nervous system and understand what is driving your symptoms if you frantically just huck strategies at yourself. So in this first stage, you need to slow down, pause, and figure out through curiosity and awareness, what are all the factors sensitizing your nervous system? Stage number 2, experimentation. Now in this stage, people do start to use some strategies or practices, but the difference is they're doing them out of a place of curiosity. They're becoming a student of their own nervous system. They're starting to be curious about how different strategies or practices affect their nervous system differently. What they are not doing is randomly and very quickly throwing strategies at themselves out of desperation and from this place of trying to find the magic solution. That's not what's happening. They're staying aware of their nervous system as they try out strategies and practices. Now, what this typically looks like, and what I usually suggest clients do, is they pick out 2 or 3 strategies. That's it. You're going to pick out 2 or 3 strategies, and you're going to do those consistently every single day for a month. This is how we experiment and actually get meaningful data. What you do not want to do is strategy hop. Strategy hop. It's kind of funny, but what people will do is they will pick out 2 or 3 strategies they want to use. They'll do them for 2 days, and then that won't work. It's not the magic solution. And so they, again, switch it up. 2 or 3 more strategies for another 2 days. And by doing this, you are never going to figure out what's working for you. So in stage number 2, experiment. Pick 2 or 3 strategies and do them consistently for a month. That is your job. Stage number 3, assessment. So after you've done 2 or 3 strategies for a month, you're going to have very meaningful data. And now you can assess. So what you're assessing for is what strategies created more safety for you. What strategies made you more dysregulated? Which ones helped you deepen your awareness and connection to emotions and your nervous system? And what strategies felt fearful at first, but actually helped you open up and widen your world? And so with the data you got from doing stage number 2, you now assess what works for your nervous system. And this way, healing's going to feel much more grounded and organized. Stage number 4, healing stops being about only reducing symptoms. This is one of the biggest transformations that happens to my clients. Their healing shifts. So it shifts from being about reducing symptoms as fast as possible to instead being about living life with a sense of safety. And so people, in other words, stop organizing their life around maximizing symptom reduction and start organizing their life in a way that creates lasting feelings of safety and regulation. They start to explore hobbies they want to do. They start to work towards meaningful career or school goals. They start to connect with people in their life or make new relationships. And they let go of being perfectionistic, high achieving, people pleasing, and controlling. This is a magical stage to enter into because you care less and less about reducing your symptoms as fast as possible and much more about living life fully, vibrantly, and with a sense of safety, which in my opinion is the whole point of this work. And by actually getting to stage number 4 and really letting that soak into your nervous system, your symptoms will reduce much more quickly. So this is what real healing looks like. It's not quick. It's not overnight. It is a slow, gradual, boring process where you are creating safety in your nervous system and in your life. So if you're feeling in despair because you've been trying to heal for months or years, please know healing takes time and you're not doing anything wrong. Now, if you want to identify the sensitization factors fueling your chronic symptoms, watch this next video on 15 signs your symptoms are neuroplastic. I'll see you there.